So these are topic tests designed for you to gauge your level of preparation. Take these topic tests only after you've gone through all the basic concepts. Having taken the test, go through the video, gives you a perspective of what you can or how what a good attempt would have been like. And if you like the test, there are more than 200 such topic tests available on the Bodhee Prep Android app. The app link is in the description below. Feel free to download it and make use of the tests that we have for you. This specific video is about profit loss discount, test number 4 as mentioned in the app. Overall, this was a moderate level of difficulty test where a good attempt would be a net correct attempt of 6 questions. The attempt time would be on the higher side because there were some questions here which required calculation. So 22 to 25 minutes would be the attempt time to get these 6 questions net correct. If you look at the questions, question number 1 says a bookseller sells only 3 books A, B, and C on Sundays, and their selling prices are in the ratio 2 is to 3 is to 4. So selling price of ABC are 2x, 3x, and 4x respectively. The bookseller makes 40, 30, and 20% profits. So profit percentage are 40, 30, and 20 respectively. If the bookseller made an overall profit of 30% on a Sunday when he sold at least one copy of each of the 3 books, which of the following is definitely true? Since the cost price of C is higher, since the selling price of C is higher and it has the lowest profit percentage, that means the cost price of C would also be the highest. And therefore, if we want 30% profit, we would want the cost price towards A and B to be more. So ideally, copies of A should be more than C. Is what I am thinking in the first uh, thought is that. But again, to be sure, if we find out the cost price of A can be written as 2x upon 1.4 because cost price into 1 plus profit percent upon 100 is equal to selling price. So cost price for each book will be selling price upon 1 plus profit percent upon 100. Cost price for B will be 3x upon 1.3. Cost price for C will be 4x upon 1.2. Suppose the number of each type of books bought is A, B, and C respectively. We can see that if the bookseller made an overall profit of 30%, overall profit of 30%, overall cost price will be 2x upon 1.4 into A plus 3x upon 1.3 into B plus 4x upon 1.2 into C. Cost price of a book into number of books, cost price of the book into number of book, cost price of the book into number of book. This is total cost price into 1 plus profit upon 100. Profit overall is 30%. So 1 plus 30 upon 100 will be equal to the selling price. Selling price is 2x. So 2x into A plus 3x into B plus 4x into C. Now this becomes 1.3 multiplied here. 2.6 AX upon 1.4 plus 1.3, 1.3 cancel, 3BX plus 1.3 into 4, 5.2. 5.2 CX upon 1.2 is equal to 2AX plus 3BX plus 4CX. 3BX cancelled. X cancelled. And therefore, 5.2C upon 1.2 minus 4C is equal to 2A minus 2.6A upon 1.4. This becomes 5.2 minus 12, 4 into 1.2, 4.8. So 0.4C upon 1.2 is equal to 2 into 1.4 is 2.8 minus 2.6, 0.2A upon 1.4. Decimal cancel, decimal cancel. 2 2s are 4, 2 6s are 14, 2 6s are 12, and then, or rather what we can do is, here we got 0.4C 0.4c upon 1.2 is equal to 0.2a upon 1.4. 4 threes are 12, 2 sevens are 14, and therefore c by 3 is equal to a by 7, which means a by c comes down, 7 goes up, is equal to 7 by 3. The number of books bought by A and C are in the ratio 7:3. The number of copies of A sold was more than the number of copies of B sold for sure. Option B becomes the answer. Now, if we are solving this, it is a question that might take some time because technically profit and loss is calculated in cost price. So first we have to come to the cost price and then make the solution. So therefore, I'm saying this is a difficult sort of a question. Solving time will also be higher. But if if you're able to take the call and realize that the cost price for C will be higher or highest, and therefore to keep the profit near 30%, the number of books bought for A has to be higher than C to compensate for the loss of C or the lack of profit in C. We can also mark B directly. Solving will take time. The selling price of an article increased by 25% equals the mark price of an article if the cost price of the article is half the marked price. Selling price, marked price, cost price. Let us take the selling price such that we can find 25% of that easily. Also, the resultant should be a number for which I can take half very easily. So let the selling price be 200. Actually 400. And therefore, selling price of an article increased by 25%. 25% of 400 is 1/4 of 400 or 100. 400 increased by 400 increased by 100 becomes 500 mark price. So this is the mark price. If the cost price of the article is half its mark price, so cost price is 500 upon 2 or 250. We have to find the percentage of profit on selling the article. Selling price 400, cost price 150. So profit of 150 upon base of 250. 400 minus 250. Profit upon cost price into 100. 0, 0, 25 fours are 100, 15 fours are 60% becomes the answer. Again, easy question. Any value that you assume will lead you to the answer in about 90 odd seconds. Two articles are sold at a profit of 25% each. The ratio of the profits made for the two articles was 6:7. Now, if we say that profit for article 1 was 6x, profit for article 2 will be 7x. Also, the ratio of profits made. The two articles sold at a profit of 25%. So we can say 25% of cost price of first article is 6x. 1/4 of CP1 is 6x. So cost price of the first article is 6 for the 24x. Similarly, 25% of CP2, cost price of second article is 7x, or 1/4 of CP2 is 7x, which means cost price of the second article is 28x. If the average selling price of the two articles is 3510, in this case, selling price 1 will be cost price plus profit, 24 plus 6, 30x. Selling price 2 will be cost price plus profit, that is 35x. What was the absolute difference between profits earned on the two articles? The average selling price of the SP1 plus SP2 by 2 is equal to 3510 cross multiply. SP1 is 30x, SP2 is 35x. 35 into 2 is 7020, which means 65x is equal to 7020, which means x is equal to 7020 upon 65. 1369. 13 5 is 65, 52, 4. If we divide by 13 first, 5s are 13, 13 5s are 65, 5 2, 13 4s are 52, 540. Divided by 5 is 108. And therefore x is equal to 108. What do we have to find? The absolute difference between the profits under the two articles. The profits were 6x and 7x, so absolute difference will be 7x minus 6x, which is x, which we have calculated as 108. Hence, the answer becomes 108. I think moderate level of difficulty question. We'll have to first settle the 6x, 7x, and from there work forward. But once you do get that first part going, I think 2.5 minutes should be good enough to solve this question. A man purchases a certain some number of strawberries at rupees 20 per dozen, but a certain percentage of the strawberries got spoiled due to pest attack. If the man sells the remaining strawberries at 30 per dozen and he makes a profit of 5%, what percentage strawberries were not spoiled? Suppose the person bought 10 dozens of strawberries at rupees 20 per dozen. This means his cost price will be 20 into 10, which is rupees 200. On this 200, profit required is 5%. 5% of 200 is nothing but 1 by 20, 10 rupees. 5 by 100 to 200, 5 into 10. And therefore, the total selling price has to be cost price plus profit. His selling price is 320 per dozen. Therefore, dozen strawberries that he has to sell will be total price upon per dozen price. So he has to sell 7 dozen strawberries. He bought 10 dozen, but he needs to sell 7. What percent of strawberries were not spoiled? These 7 dozen should not have been spoiled. So 7 out of 10 into 100, that is 70% strawberries were not spoiled. He sold them for 30 rupees per dozen and therefore earned his 5% profit overall. In terms of level of difficulty, I'd say easy to moderate. 2 minutes would be good enough time to attempt this question. X sold 2 books, one at 11.11%, the other at a gain of 25. If the books had cost him the same, what is approximate overall gain or loss percent? Again, approximately the cost price is same, and therefore we can say profit minus loss upon 2, which is 14 minus 11. 13.89 by 2, which will be 7.9, 6.9, 612.945, approximately 7% gain. Or take the 11.11 is 1 by 9, 25% is 1 by 4. So let the cost price, if 2 books had cost him the same, if cost price is 36, on one, the loss is 1 by 9, that is 4 rupees. On the other, there is profit of 1 by 4, that is 9 rupees. This is loss, this is profit. And therefore, total profit will be 9 minus 4, that is 5 rupees. Total cost price is 36 plus 36 because 2 items have been sold. And therefore, profit percent will be 5 upon 72 into 100. Divided by 8, 8 9 is 72. Divided by 4. 8. Divided by 4. 36. 25. 125 by 36. 125 by 35 would have been 25 by 7. 7 5s are 35. Not even 36, this will be 18. What am I doing? Divide by 4. 72 by 4 is 18. 25. 125 by 18. This is better. So, divide 18 6 are 18 7s are it's 56 5 126, so very close to 7, and 7% approximately would be the answer overall gain. I think better approach here would have been to take the cost price as 100 and not 36 because that created a denominator which is difficult. But again, use this formula directly. When the cost price is same and the profit or loss percents are x1 and x2 and the cost price is same, the answer simply is x1 plus x2 upon 2. If it is a loss, take negative value. So since we've done that formula in the class as well, it's an easy question. Should have been done off within 60 to 90 seconds. A shopkeeper bought two toys A and B at rupees 180 and 200 respectively. He marked their prices up by a certain percentage X and gave a discount of 10% to the purchaser. After marking up the prices, he inadvertently interchanged the price tags of both the toys. The percentage by which he marked up the prices if he earned a profit of 30% after selling A. Now the cost price for A was 180. Cost price for A is rupees 180. Profit is 30%. 30% of 180 will be 3 into 18, 54. And therefore, A has been sold for 180 plus 54, which is 234. This after there was a discount of 10%. Therefore, the marked price on A would have been marked price into 1 minus discount upon 100 is equal to selling price. So the marked price on A would be 9 upon 10, 234. 10 upon 100 is 1 by 10. 1 minus 1 by 10 is 9 by 10. Dividing 7, 234 by 9. 9 twos are 18. 260. 9 twos are 18. 5 4 9 6 26. So mark price should be 260. Now on A, the sticker that was there was 260. On this 10% discount was given, it was sold for 234, and therefore profit gained was 30%. But this 260 was actually the mark price for B because the tags got interchanged. And therefore, B, whose price is 200, its price was increased by X% and sticker of 260 was to be put. But instead of that 260 got put on A instead of B. And therefore, we can say B, when increased by X%, has to become 260. So 200 into 1 plus X upon 100 is equal to 260, which means 1 plus X upon 100 is equal to 260 by 200. It will be 1.3. X upon 100 is equal to 0.3. 1 minus 1.3 minus 1. Therefore, X is nothing but 30%. 2 3s are 6 should make it clear that X is 30%. I think moderate level of question, the reading of the question is important. Solving time would be somewhere around 2.5 odd minutes for this question. A man cheats while buying as well as while selling. While buying, he takes 10% more than what he pays, and for and while selling, he gives 20% less than what he claims to. Find his profit percent if he sells at 9.09% below the cost price of the claimed weight. Suppose he pays for articles worth rupees 100, but while buying, he takes 10% more than what he pays. So he will take 10% more than this, which is 110 rupees worth of items he will take. While he pays what he pays, while selling, he gives 20% less than what he claims to. So if he claims to give X, he will actually give 1 minus 20 upon 100, which is 1 by 5, or 4 by 5x is what he will give. Now he has 110 rupee worth of items to give away. So what I'm doing is, suppose he buys items worth 200 rupees. He will take items worth 220 rupees. Because 220 is divisible by 4 essentially. Also, when he gives away this item, he will actually claim to have given more. Suppose he claims to give X, 4x by 5 is what he will give, and 4x by 5 is 20 because his items were 220 to give away. So 455, X becomes 275. This is what he claims to give. But it is not over yet. He says 20% less than what he claims to. Find his profit percent if he sells at 9.0 and below the cost price of the claimed weight. The claimed weight is 275, but he is not selling at 275. He is selling at lesser. How much lesser? 9.09 less. 9.09 is 1 by 11. So when he claims to have 275 rupees worth of item, when actually there is only 220 to give, he gives 1 by 11 discount on this. 1 by 11 of 275 will be 25. So instead of 275, he will only charge 250 rupees. He paid 200 rupees for the item, but he's charging 250 rupees. So find his profit percent, profit of 50 on a base of 20. 200, sorry. And therefore 50 by 20, which is 25% would be his overall profit. In terms of level of difficulty, has the concept of faulty weights, moderate level of question, 2.5 to 3 minutes should be good enough to solve this question. A Russian luxury pens maker sells X pens through a supermarket called Large Bazaar at a total price of 100 plus 120x. If Large Bazaar sells the pen at a total price of 3x square, find the maximum loss that could have been incurred by Large Bazaar. Loss will be cost price minus selling price. We have to maximize this. Now for X item, cost price will be 100 plus 120x. Selling price will be 3x square. So if we look at this equation, we can write this as 100 minus 3 x square minus 40x. Basically, I've taking out minus 3 from here. So x square, if we take out minus 3 from here, we'll be left with minus 40x. So this becomes 100 minus 3 x square minus 40x, completing the square. This is 2 in x square minus 40x is x square into 2 into 20x. A square minus 2ab. So this becomes b. So therefore, we have to have plus b square in the end. So we add 420 square and subtract 20 square. So this becomes 100 minus 3 into a x square minus 2ab plus b square minus b square. So this is equal to 100 minus 3 into, this becomes x minus 20 whole squared. And this minus 20 square can be brought out of the bracket. So minus 3 into minus 400, which becomes 100 minus 3 into x minus 20 whole squared plus 1200, which is 1300 minus 3 into x minus 20 whole squared. Since we are talking about the loss, the maximum loss or the maximum value of this will be when this negative term is minimum. And that will happen when it is 0, because since x minus 20 square is there, this value can never be negative. So the moment we reach 20, this becomes 0, and that is where the loss will be maximum. The maximum loss that can happen is 1300 units. And this will happen when x is equal to 20. Again, this has the concept of quadratic involved. So it's a moderate to difficult level, especially if you do not know the quadratic equation, becomes difficult to solve. If you do, then maybe 2.5 minutes is good enough to solve this question. But there can be another way of looking at this question. See, as the number of pens increases, right? Every increase in pen number, increase in pen will increase the cost in pen by 1. Will increase cost by 120 rupees, because when one pen is there, 100 plus 120. When two pens are there, 100 plus 1 into 2, 120 into 2, 120 into 3, and so on. So cost increases 120. What will be the increase in revenue? Revenue increase will be 3x square minus 3x minus 1 square. Basically, the point where or the difference between two consecutive numbers, square of that into 3. Because when there is one pen, the revenue is 3 into 1 square. When there are two pens, revenue is 3 into 2 square. So difference will be 3 into 2 square minus 1 square. Right? Now, as long as the revenue is not more than the revenue increase is not more than the cost increase, till then the loss will keep happening. And therefore, if we start putting values, we'll see at when x is equal to 20, 3 into 20 square minus 3 into 19 square, which is 3 into 20 into 19. A square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b. 39 into 9. Sorry. 3 into 20 square minus 19 square, which is 3 into 20 plus 19, 39 into 1. 3 into 39 will be just less than 120, 117. Beyond this, the additional revenue increase will be more than 120, which will overshadow the cost, and therefore profit will start to happen. Till then, the loss will keep mounting, and loss will be maximum till 20 pence. That comes out to 1300. That could also be, we'll have to find out the loss at that point. Looking at the overall revenue and the cost for 20 pence, you'll get the answer as 1300. That could be an alternate way of looking at this question. But again, both cases, the expectation is an idea of quadratic has to be there. Had a trader bought an item at 10% less than usual and sold it at 10% more than usual, his profit percent would have his profit percent would have been double the usual. What is the usual profit percent? Let cost price is equal to X, selling price is equal to Y. Usual profit percent, therefore, is equal to Y minus X upon X into 100. Had he bought the item for 10% less, so 0.9x, 10% of x reduction is 1 minus 10 upon 100, which is 9.9x. Sold it for 10% more, 1 plus 10 upon 100 into y. 1 by 10, 1 plus 1 by 10 is 11 by 10, 1.1 y. So the new profit percent will be, 1.1 y minus 0.9x upon 0.9x into 100. The new profit percent is double the usual profit percent. We have to find the relationship between x and y. X and x gets cancelled, 100 and 100 gets cancelled. So, 11, 1.1 y, 1.1 y minus 0.9 y is equal to 0.9 into 2, 1.8 y minus 1.8 x. So this goes here, 0.9, this is x, not y. 0.9x, 1.8 minus 0.9 is equal to 1.8 minus 0.7 y, which means y by x is equal to, x comes down, 7 goes down, 9 by 7, 0.9 by 0.7 or 9 by 7. So if cost price is rupees 7, selling price will be rupees 9. We have to find out usual profit percent. So profit will be 9 minus 7, that is 2. Profit percent will be 2 by 7 into 100. 1 by 7 is 14.28. So 2.2 by 7 will be 28. 4 by 7 percent, option B becomes the answer. Again, I think moderate to difficult question here, because dealing with variables mostly cannot assume value. Secondly, uh, double the profit percent, there is always a chance of confusion happening. Therefore, moderate to difficult. But I think once the solution starts, the solving time should not be more than 2.5 minutes. A merchant purchased a pack of 15 bottles of soft drink at the cost of rupees 15 per bottle and sold the pack at a profit of 20%. With the additional, what is the additional profit he would have made if he had sold the pack at 15% more than what he sold it for? Okay, so his cost price was rupees 50. Enter your answer as a decimal value, round off to 2 decimal places. Cost price was rupees 15 per bottle. 15 bottles soft drink. Profit was 20%. So per bottle it was 20% of 15, which is 300 by 3, or rupees 3 per bottle. And therefore selling price per bottle was rupees 15 plus 3, rupees 18 per bottle. We have to find out the additional profit if he sold pack 15% for what he sold it for. So if he sells it for 15% more, the additional profit will be 15% of rupees 18 per bottle. 15% of 18 is 15 by 100 into 18. Should be 5, 10. Okay. 5 threes are 5 20s are 2 10s are 2 9s are. So 2.7 rupees per bottle would be the extra profit. There are 15 bottles to be sold, so the overall extra profit would be extra profit will be equal to 2.7 per bottle into 15 bottles. So 2.7 into 15. This can be written as 2.7 into 30 by 2, which becomes 27 into 3, 81 by 2, which becomes 40.5. Since we have to round off the decimal to two decimal places, we'll input the answer as 40.50 rupees, and that becomes the answer. Again, overall, an easy question. Should be able to do this in about 90 seconds. Definitely something that should be looked at in the exam. Now, if you look at the overall level of difficulty of the test, as I said at the start, moderate level, because out of 10, there were at least 2-3 questions which shouldn't have been picked up in an examination. Also, some questions required calculation, so the overall time for attempt would increase, and therefore I'm saying moderate. The 6 questions that I would look at in this examination, in this test, would be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Which are these questions? This is a question I would have not attempted for the simple reason, though we were able to get the answer, but if the numbers were closer, then approximation becomes difficult, and then it was a difficult question to do. This would have attempted, just put the value, solve, and move forward, not a problem. Would have, again, taken a call on this because there were two different values. Average price was there, 3510 was a difficult number overall to manage. Would have taken a call on this. If you're comfortable, can go for this question as well. Would have done this for sure. Simple, assume a dozen, or assume a starting dozen that has been bought and work from there. Would have attempted this as well. Direct formula 25 minus 11 by 2. Would have done this because A, cost price is there, profit is there, discount is there. We'll get the price, mark price, and then just calculation of mark price on the base of 200. Would ideally have done this as well. This I would have done because have done similar questions earlier. Unless you've done quadratic equation, this is not something that you should attempt. More than double usual. This again could have been done, but since the variables are involved and the term of profit percentage and profit can be misleading, could have left it. This definitely would have been done. So for me, my attempt questions will be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. 3 can be looked at if you are comfortable, but net 6 correct is what we're looking at in this test, at least.